Welcome to the show, everyone. I'm Russ Fritz,
And I'm Nathan Johns,
and we invite you to ride along while we're.
switching grooves.
What's going on, Nathan? Seems like you're having some computer trouble.
Yeah, we got a little bit of technical difficulties tonight. My computer decided it was not going to power on for the screen, so we had to improvise.
Back to the old cell phone.
Well, it's a new one because originally we couldn't get to work on the cell phone. So we're working out the technical difficulties. We're getting there.
Gonna have to start a GoFundMe for a new computer for you.
I'd love to start my own studio GoFundMe just so I can have one that doesn't look like my weird living room.
Well, I mean, I'm working on mine, but I got to do it on my
We'll get me figured out eventually.
own. I'm doing it on my own dime and my very, very little bit of spare time that I do have. So it
Oh
hasn't
yeah.
got it hasn't gotten much further than where it started at, but we'll get there sooner or later.
Oh yeah.
Just got we got to do some painting to the rest of the house, so we're just waiting to do that.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of a waiting game to see what colors are gonna go where and all that before I do a whole lot in this room other than what I've done.
Yeah.
So, well, let's actually start off with you this weekend. What are we gonna
Oh
go and
gosh.
do?
Well, we'll start off with one of the bigger stories, other than Throwback Weekend. For anybody who follows the NFL, Lamar Jackson decided he wants to. I don't know if it's considered sue Junior Motorsports over the number 8 or what exactly the story is. I haven't fully gotten all the details on it. It's kind of a newer, up developing story. But I guess starting yesterday, Lamar Jackson went to the his team went to the trademark and logo people. I don't know what you'd consider them, and they are suing, I guess, Junior Motorsports and Dale Jr. over the use of the number 8. Now, to clarify, it is not the famous DEI 8. Is the Junior Motorsports font that they used from 2019 to 2024. So it's not the current Sammy Smith font. It's the other font that Tyler Reddick ran and all the other people who ran the 8 car in that span of time. So it's not the famous one that he's bringing back that millions of people now have, or people have tattooed on their bodies and bought all the diecasts. It's not that one. So all you Junior fans, don't panic. You're not getting sued by the NFL. It's the people who wanted the Sammy Smith font, which I still don't quite understand the point of all of that, but I don't watch football enough to really care. So we'll leave it at that until I get more details. Recently this week, Steve O'Donnell and I forget the other guy's name, but they were promoted to further up the NASCAR food chain to I don't know if he's considered commissioner or what they
Yeah,
want to call him, but he's now higher up than what he was, which I thought he was as high as you could get, but
he is
I
now
don't know anything.
the commissioner, from what I heard. He's now commissioner.
So essentially, we've got another Roger Goodell in the NASCAR world. Great. Uh,
Not that he's very deserving of it or anything.
yeah. I'm not going to comment on that because I don't want to get shut down. But yeah, it's been an interesting week when it comes to NASCAR stuff. Along with the Lamar Jackson Dale Earnhardt Jr. lawsuit and Steve O'Donnell being promoted, they did officially fine or penalize Sammy Smith for his actions at the Martinsville race last week, which we didn't cover prior to Martinsville. The part that I don't quite understand is they penalized Jeb Burton and Taylor Gray. I can understand the Taylor Gray penalty because he did kind of go after Sammy Smith. I guess in the general proximity of the infield care center, I don't really consider that inside the infield care center. It kind of spilled back into it, but it was like in the entryway. That's not inside the infield care center where there's actual doctors working. So I'm iffy on that one. I totally understand why Sammy Smith got penalized. Jeb Burton, I don't quite understand that one. I guess he went after somebody, but I don't really know that one. It must have happened inside the infield care center, but I don't know the details of that one fully. But you know, all kinds of fun stuff has gone on for that race,
Oh,
which
dude,
we
I'm gonna tell you
declined to
what.
talk about.
I don't think that Sammy Smith's penalty was enough, to be honest with you.
I mean, I here's the problem that I face with it is don't feel like it was penalty enough, like stiff enough, but at the same time, it's a different scenario than the Austin Dillon, Joey Logano, and Denny Hamlin incident. Sammy Smith made that move and didn't win the race.
I
So
don't care if he
I'm
won
I'm
or not.
kind of twisted between it's insult to injury if you suspend him for a race for doing. I mean, it was way more egregious than Austin Dillon's incident. I think it was. It took Austin Dillon's and put it to a minute detail because he completely blew past uh, the he was going way faster than I feel like Austin Dillon was going when he entered that car. I mean, he buckled the hood. He hit him so hard. Now, I don't know if the next gen cars would buckle the hood if he hit them that hard, but he buckled it enough that it essentially knocked the radiator out of it. And he still ended up getting pushed across the line. I mean,
Uh,
he didn't win the race, but I still feel like there should be more to that. I feel like there should be more penalty, more actions taken. But then again, it's a money that funds the ride series, and all we're going to do is feed these rich kids more money, and it's not going to do anything. They don't learn anything. And unfortunately, Dale Jr., like he said, he can't really, do anything about it. He's not going to park them, which it leads me to the comment of, are we going to be at boys have at it again? Or are we going back to, you know, buckle down these drivers? They have no personalities outside the car, and we have a smaller version of the Cup Series. There's got to be a fine line. Currently, we're in the gray areas, which is hard to believe, I guess. But I'm trying to keep my opinions minimal. If that was me, I probably would have just absolutely decked him, and he would have lost his ride on the spot for making an embarrassment of my team. That would have been me, but then again, I am very much against the move he made, and I don't think that represents Junior Motorsports well at all. Like, I really think that was a really bad look for Junior Motorsports. If it could get any worse from wrecking each other, that was it. Um, but enough
I,
talking about the past. I want to be able to bring up this week's big stories. It's
well, hold
Throwback
up
Week,
a second.
and I'm excited about that.
All I'm gonna say about what you just talked about is that, and I'll leave it at this. I won't make a big spiel about it, but these car owners need to start doing something about their drivers taking people out and driving idiotic like that. And I know it's hard to do with the sponsorship money that a lot of times the driver is sponsored, not the car. So, they're going to have to figure something out. But anyway,
Yes.
let's go on to the throwback weekend. That's the exciting part.
I have a lot of opinions on some of these, I said this to somebody earlier this week prior to this actually getting into this race, and it pulled true again. Every year, Hendrick Motorsports gives 3 absolute barn burner throwbacks and 1 absolute dumpster fire one.
You are
And
exactly right.
unfortunately, it continued again this year. Last year, I feel like William Byron's Jeff Gordon throwback was kind of lacking the effort. And this year, rather than it be Alex Bowman, Kyle Larson, or Chase or William Byron get the dumpster fire one, they give the most popular driver, Chase Elliott, an absolute hideous. And there isn't really a good way to put it, just absolute trash throwback this year. They were attempting to throw back to, I guess, the Ken Schrader throwback car, and completely botched it. All the colors are in the wrong places. I mean, if you could compare it to the Ricky Stenhouse, I guess, Ricky Craven throwback car, it's not as bad as that throwback, but it's certainly among the ranks of worst throwback I've ever, or worst attempt at an actual throwback ever. That was bad. Personally, my favorite this year is, I do kind of like the Kyle Larson car, but I do feel like there are some details they could have fixed to make that car way better. For example, one side of the car versus the other side of the car do not look the same. Terry Labonte's the car that they're trying to model. Yes, I understood you couldn't put Tony the Tiger on the hood, but one says HendrickCars.com and the other side says Got Cars in the exact same on the rear quarter panel. Make them look the same versus the car. Terry's car said or I think it said Got Milk on both sides, which would have been the Got Cars. Either that or it said Kellogg's down the side. They used the Kellogg's font on one side and the Got Milk font on the other side for Got Cars. Both sides had the same sponsor and same text and everything. This one does not. So that was one of my critiques for that car. I will say and I know that people are going to vote against it, but the Ty Dillon number 10 Colleague car, throwing it back to Patty Moyse, that throwback might be the best one I've seen this year because it literally is an exact replica of that car minus the number. Same sponsor, same font. The only difference is that one's a 10 and one's a 45. The cars look identical from next gen to the old car, the 45 car that Patty drove. I think that's the coolest thing ever, that they brought the original sponsor back. And I mean, it looks phenomenal for a Cup Series car. I was actually quite impressed. I'm not a big Denny Hamlin one, but the Carl Edwards throwback this year does kind of work well with the Sports Clip sponsor, and I'll give them that. Another one that I'm iffy on is the Ryan Blaney throwback to Dave Blaney's only Xfinity win. I like it, but one car is blue and one car is green. Um, there's got to be something fixed there. Personally, my favorite when it comes to all of them has to be the where was it? I gotta find it. I'm looking through these as I'm talking to you guys, so I have a good visual. I personally like the Josh Berry car. They took the Lotus Indy 500 car and they put it on a NASCAR, and it legitimately looks like an Indy car, but it's got I almost want to say it looks like the old GT40s from way back when they ran the Le Mans, but this is off an Indy car, and it actually kind of looks really close to the car they ran at the Indy 500, and I love it. I think it's the coolest thing ever. Shout out to the Jeff Gordon William Byron throwback. I'm actually wearing the shirt tonight just because I thought it'd be a good throwback shirt. But there was one more Jeff Gordon throwback that I give way better props. Like, it might be the best throwback car of the entire weekend, and that's the Brendan Poole car, where they literally did I think it was the 2001 Looney Tunes car, and they essentially they Looney Tuned Brandon Poole. And I gotta say, it is the coolest looking throwback I have ever seen for Jeff Gordon throwbacks. I mean, they quite literally, you know, they put Brennan Poole as Bugs Bunny on the front of the car. The car actually, kind of shines like the original uh, Looney Tunes car. I mean, it's personally my favorite throwback of the entire weekend. It should win best throwback of the year because that might be one of the most nostalgic. It's not a very well known car, but it's the best, I guess, tribute to that car because they did a Customs Motorsports or CW Sons Motorsports as the DuPont logo. I thought that was the coolest idea ever. Now, the only way they could top this next year is if somebody comes back with the Jurassic Park shirt. Because if we get the Rexy car back, everybody's going to lose their mind. And I guarantee that somebody's going to do the T Rex car, and it's going to put Hendrick Motorsports to shame because Hendrick Motorsports won't do it. And I guarantee somebody's going to do it, and they're going to show them up. And I want somebody to do it because that's the coolest car ever. But there were a lot of good throw. I mean, obviously the Truck Series isn't racing this year, which is kind of disappointing. But there were some really, really good throwbacks this year. I mean, just scrolling through, we got the uh, not that's not Jay McMurray. No, that's the David Stremme for Anthony Alfredo, which I thought was pretty good. That was a good one. Sam Mayer is throwing back to the Daytona 500 Kurt Busch car, where he spun the Stuart Haas car through the infield. They've even got the patch of grass on the hood, which I thought was pretty good. I thought that was that was probably my favorite part of that car, is they included that.
If uh, if the Sprint cars did a throwback like that, I could have worn my old David Gravel shirt. I still got the old '89 G David Gravel shirt.
I mean, there's some absolutely there's a couple sprint car throwbacks in here. Like Christopher Bell is throwing back to his heroes. He's got. Let me see if I can scroll back up and find it.
He's
I mean,
doing
he
Rick.
did a couple of them. He did Rick Ferkel. I can't pronounce his name, but he's doing two different throwbacks to them. One's in the Xfinity series for the 20 car, and the 19 he's doing one also. I like him, but at the same time, you don't see very many of those throwbacks anymore, and it makes it hard to, you know, there isn't a whole lot of sprint car throwbacks, so they're very rare, but they are good to see.
Yeah, he's doing a Rick Ferkel throwback. Rick is where he got started in big time sprint car racing. I remember watching Christopher race around here before he actually made it into NASCAR. So it was really interesting, and he got the call to go NASCAR and told Rick, "Hey, I'm not coming back." So
I will say some of the letdowns when it comes to throwbacks. I gotta say Connor Zilic. Yes, it's kind of a throwback font to Buddy Baker's car, but at the same time, I can't really see the throwback in that one. I mean, other than the number, nothing else really changed on the car. I feel like. I feel like that was kind of a letdown. Um, I'm trying to find the other one that I was a little disappointed with. The Connor Zilic one definitely felt like a letdown. Uh, I kind of like the Nick Sanchez car. It's a Bobby Unsicker Indy throwback. I can kind of see it from the photos. I wasn't really sure how to react to it at first. Um, where was the other one? I do like the Dean Thompson. They put a Crown Royal looking sponsor in the right rear quarter panel, and they put a saw blade on the side to replicate Jamie McMurray's throwback paint scheme, which honestly I feel like would be a better paint scheme to the Daytona race that he won, because it kind of looks like that car too. Some other ones that were kind of letdowns to me. I can find it again. The Josh Williams car I like, but at the same time the color scheme's wrong on it, so I don't really know how to react to that one. Uh, Justin Allgaier's car. I honestly, if you're not going to throw back to another car, just don't do a throwback because these throwing back to the old style sponsors and not to an actual car. I mean, they did this exact same design, I think last year. They're just rerunning the same font, same style, everything. It's not really throwing back to a certain car or really anything. It's just throwing back to an old school design, old school font for your sponsor. I'm iffy on those because I'm not a big fan of them. Uh, I mean, they got Cody Ware throwing back to Ward Burton, which there was another Ward Burton one in the Xfinity series. I think it was Jeb Burton doing a throwback for him. Uh, I am kind of iffy on Alex Bowman's. I mean, there was a lot of talk about that one because it's an iconic scheme. I can understand it, but at the same time, I guess there really isn't. There really isn't a good way to do that because that's an iconic scheme, and he will never be Jimmy Johnson level. So, I mean, I guess, but yeah, I don't know about that one. The J.J. Yaley, Bill Elliott is probably a good one too.
Jimmy Johnson didn't really have a lot of different paint schemes over the years, though.
But out of all the paint schemes, that was the one they threw it back to was the 200th victory at Darlington, which I can understand the logic behind it. At the same time, I kind of wish they would have used that last year instead of use. I forget what scheme they even used last year. I mean, they have a pretty good arsenal of paint schemes. There wasn't a whole lot of them, but there's four iconic schemes you could use. You could use the rookie year, which I think they used once before. You could use, the one he used after that, which was a little bit more silver. They could do the gold car from Daytona. I mean, he's had different paint schemes, but there I will give him credit. There isn't a whole lot to throw back to, but I mean, they did kind of step into it a deep end when it came to the old school throwbacks for him too, because there's quite a few they could have used that they didn't. Another one I really don't like is John Hunter Nemechek's throwback to his dad. I can understand Dollar Tree's colors are green, but if the car was not didn't have an ounce of green on it, don't use that paint scheme because if all you're going to use are Dollar Tree colors, I I wouldn't do that car. I mean, they've got a blue car with a bunch of different colors on it, and it's a I guess John Hernimjak's going to run a black car with three different shades of green. I personally think that one's pretty crappy. But you know, I guess it's the best they could do. Zane Smith, they're literally rerunning the old school Long John Silver's logo, like 1970s themed logo. I think that's you can't run the same scheme multiple years in a row. I feel like that's a really really bad way of just cheating out of just cheating the system. You can't run the same scheme back to back years. That hurts. Yeah, honestly, that's an insult to your fans. I feel the Joey Logano car. I do kind of like. It's the Cale Yarborough throwback. I kind of wish they would have done something different with the numbers, but then again, it's kind of hard to do that with that particular car. So I'll let that one go, but I feel like there could have been something done different because the numbers kind of blend in. I mean, I've covered the ones that I really feel like stand out. The Austin Cindric number 2 is definitely thinking outside the box, and we're talking like pre RCR, talking like first Dale Earnhardt Sr. car ever from the 1970 1980 79 to 1980 season. The number 2 throwback, I feel like that was an actually very well played throwback because nobody ever really thinks of that one. So I'll give that one some brownie points. I think that one was pretty good. But honestly, when it comes to Darlington weekend, and I'll do my picks now, uh, I got to say some of the dirt guys. Tyler Reddick, which I don't think they're doing a throwback at all this year, so shame on 2311 for not participating. I gotta say Tyler Reddick, uh, Kyle Larson, Chase Briscoe. Which, funny enough, I haven't seen a throwback for him yet, so I'm a little concerned on that end because there's only what two cars from Joe Gibbs Racing who have done throwbacks. So if the rest of the team isn't going to participate, I feel like that's a little sad. But the dirt guys I see are going to run. I think will run pretty well. Uh, I think I'm going to step out on a limb, and my underdog pick is going to be Eric Jones. Eric Jones has a ridiculously good history at Darlington, and I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. Like he is scary good for the lack of performance he has. He's scary good at Darlington. I mean, he's won before in the Petty 43. He's very possible could win again this year. He just always seems to show up at Darlington every year. And I don't know how he does it, but they always pick that one track to show up, and that's all they ever run good at, I feel like. But I mean, the dirt guys, Eric Jones, and honestly, even Christopher Bell or William Byron, they both have had a pretty good history at Darlington. I mean, other than William Byron's first year, I feel like those dirt guys who could run the outside wall, run the cushion, I feel like they have a pretty good chance at this race. They always seem to perform really well.
Don't pass on the outside of turn 4.
I'm pretty sure he put special tires on that car.
Yeah,
He put perfectly matched tires to
they
pass
were
on the outside.
match perfect and staggered special.
Yes. So, yeah. Honestly, if you run good at Darlington, I don't expect any of the unusual contenders to perform great. I mean, if you are known to run good at Darlington, I expect the typical favorites to run well. I don't expect any surprises. I really don't think Brad Keselowski and Chris Buescher are really going to show up this year. I mean, they had a great year last year, but I think a blind squirrel finds a nut. I really don't think they can repeat that because their stats earlier in the year, last year, were pretty decent. This year, they suck. So I really don't think they're going to repeat and perform well. But no. Then again, last week, I didn't really pick a whole lot of good to come out of that race. So I didn't think Denny Hamlin would have it, but, here we are.
If I recall correctly, too, reading something, I believe Hendrick changed Larson's entire pit crew this week.
Yeah, I mean, that wouldn't have anything to do with them leaving the right rear off the car. I mean, honestly, maybe it's just me, but I think that championship season is finally wearing off. It took long enough, but, maybe everybody will start to see that he's really not that good on dirt, or not that good on pavement. He's great on dirt, not really that great on pavement. He's pretty average.
Well, he's
And when it comes
basically
to maybe when it comes to super speedways, people will see that more often. Short tracks, yeah, he's okay at. Intermediates, yeah, pretty good at. But super speedways are his weakness. And now that Atlanta is a super speedway, that's one less track that he could really be good at. I mean, his stats at Daytona suck. Talladega, subpar at best. Atlanta, he really hasn't been that great lately.
you
Ever
you
since that reconfiguration, he sucks.
you just won't be happy until Larson leaves NASCAR, will you?
I'm telling you, no, I will be more happier when people actually realize he's really not that good on pavement. I mean, he's just like everybody else. When it comes to dirt, yes, I will give him credit. He is unrealistically good. Like, he's insanely good on dirt. But when it comes to pavement, he's really not much better than anybody else. He's really nothing special. I mean, yes, he won 10 races that season. So that's still not the record for most wins in a season. And I'm pretty sure we had less races that year, the year that Jeff Gordon won and Richard Petty. Well, Richard Petty had an insane amount of races in one year and won 13 races. I think there was like 60 some races I think they ran that year, and he won 13. So I can't really say that that one's surprising because yes, Kyle probably would have won way more than 13. But I mean, with a 30 some race season, I think they had like 32 the year Gordon won because they hadn't released what Las Vegas or what was the other track they hadn't released yet? Homestead. Those tracks weren't on the schedule yet. So there's we got 34 races, two less races at minimum that they would have won, and he won 13 races. Kyle Larson won 10 with a 36 race season. I I really can't justify that being a career, a historic year because he really hasn't won as many races as the record. If he had won three more races, yeah, sure. And I had this debate with somebody else. Had he won at Pocono in what 2021, then yeah, he would have set the record for most wins in a row. But the current record, I believe, is still four. Had he won Pocono, he would have set a record at five. The max wins in a row, I think, is still four. So maybe it's just me, but he hasn't broken any records that are really that surprising, I guess. I mean, there's people who are way older than him who have set those records that probably won't be touched anytime soon by Kyle, especially with the stats he's had this year so far. He's got one win. I really can't see him passing any records this year. I mean, maybe doing a lot more at the Indy 500 and Coke 600, but then again, that stat that Tony Stewart put up is going to be really hard to beat. I think he finished third and eighth, or second and fifth, or something. If Kyle were to win the race, he still has to make it from Indy to Charlotte. And with all the, post race activities at Indy, I don't think he's going to make it. And with the new rule change, it's going to make it even harder because there is no leeway. So, I mean, they're going to have to start that race at like 9 o'clock in the morning if he's going to make it, if he thinks he can win. And
Well,
trust
I
me,
don't.
he's probably won't fit with the way the Indy 500s have gone. Even if he finishes the Indy 500, he has to really pray for rain when it comes to Charlotte because they're not that far apart. And he's going to definitely probably miss the drivers' meeting for sure. So it's not likely he will make it to the finish of both races. And it's also, you have to hope the car even holds up that long. And if he one wrong move in the Indy car and it's over, or you get 599 laps and you crash on the white flag, you didn't complete the full race. A lot of things have to align for it to happen, and I don't think realistically he's going to be able to do it, especially with the time circumstances.
Only time will tell.
Yep. But I know we got some dirt coverage to cover about. I'm getting off my soapbox for it comes to NASCAR.
A lot of stuff got canceled last weekend. Not a whole lot. One thing in local racing here, I'll tell you that was actually pretty interesting. Attica Raceway Park actually had their track record by the 305s broken twice in one night for qualifying. Brandon Moore broke it in his group, and then Jamie Miller comes out, which was actually the old record holder in the first place, and he breaks his own track record along with the new one that Brandon Moore set just a group before him. So that was amazing. And on
That's
top of that,
crazy.
I I actually ended up shutting it off on my uh, computer, but um, the late models come out to do their qualifying slash it's actually group qualifying slash hot laps. So um, they broke theirs twice too. And all in all, in the 305s, there were actually what did it say? I believe it said 9 drivers that were under the original track record, and then it got broken twice, which is
That's
absolutely
crazy.
insane. And the late models, I believe they said there was six total that were under the old track record, and it got broken twice in
Wow.
one night. So it's amazing, and that that's just how fast that track was from the rain and stuff that we had gotten over
Oh
last
yeah.
weekend. This weekend, pretty much everything is canceled. I believe Williams Grove is actually racing right now, but
I
that's
know.
I think they have the 410 and the 358 sprints right now.
I know Lernerville had their testing tune canceled tonight.
But Attica canceled tonight. Wayne County canceled their opener for tomorrow. Atomic is canceled for tomorrow. Um, I mean, everything around is just canceled. I mean, this we had a nasty storm come through, and there was actually it was just confirmed earlier today that there was a tornado touchdown in my town, which was and it was actually maybe a mile from my house, and I was sleeping. I slept right through everything. So,
That's
but
crazy.
I got up yesterday morning to go to work, and they had the road, actually the main highway through town closed. And you've been here, so you know where
That's
the main town is.
crazy. I do know
But
where that is. That's actually insane.
but just east of town, if you would be going to Fremont Speedway, actually, just east of town, there was a barn that got destroyed by this tornado, and a couple power poles got busted over. Some semi trucks flipped over. We had one or two semi trucks flipped over. Just southeast of here in Fostoria, they had a train flipped over off of the tracks,
Oh wow.
and they say, and they've actually found the trail that the tornado leaves through the fields.
Yeah.
They found that, so they confirmed it as an EF0 tornado, which is up to 85-mile-per-hour winds. So, I mean,
Wow.
nothing too horrendous, but
Yeah.
it is a confirmed tornado. But that was just crazy.
I know that there was
Yeah,
a tornado that hit John Force's shop also.
but yeah, I mean, so with all this crazy weather, and this weather just stretched from the northern United States all the way to the southern. I mean, it's just ruining everything for this
Yeah.
week. But yeah, everything is pretty much canceled this weekend, so we're not going to have nothing really to cover on dirt next week. But
I know.
the only major news I've got uh, for today was actually uh, pretty, I don't know, surprising, I guess. And a lot of people weren't. I don't think a lot of people were expecting it at all. Maybe people that were very, very close to him, but I'll just get to it. So let me change my camera up though here in a second. But yeah, it was actually a big, big surprise when I heard it. Definitely. So,
Yeah, I while we're getting that part set up, I did see that John Force's shop in Indiana took damage from the tornadoes they were having. So definitely prayers to all the victims out there and all across the country with this bad weather. So hopefully everybody's doing okay. Everybody's safe now. So
so, so here's my story on the news that we got this weekend. Every end is a new beginning. The sprint car world received somber news this week as Jacob Allen, the talented Pennsylvania driver of son and sprint car and son of sprint car legend Bobby Allen, made the difficult decision on Wednesday to step away from driving, effective immediately. So uh, Jacob Allen hangs up his helmet. In an emotional Facebook post on Wednesday, Allen shared that his priorities have shifted with the arrival of his growing family. Oh man, it's kind of hard to read, but with having a family now, I feel it's best for me to focus on being there for them, is what he wrote. So for fans who have actually followed his career, the announcement actually carries a mix of sadness and understanding. And racing at the highest level of 410 sprint car racing, especially, it isn't just a job; it's a lifestyle, and that demands, what do you want to say, relentless travel, uh, countless hours in the shop, and actually a level of risk that weighs heavier once you actually have little ones waiting for you at home. So Jacob's choice, while heartbreaking for those who love to watch him, including me, is actually a reminder of what truly matters, and that's family. So a career filled with heart, hustle, and breakthrough moments. Um, Gotta say, Alan's journey has actually been one of perseverance and passion. Over 755 World of Outlaws starts, he carved out his place in the sport, not just as Bobby Allen's son, but actually as a fierce competitor in his own right. His five World of Outlaw wins, four of them coming in a spectacular 2022 season, proved that he could battle with the best. So I don't know what else I could say, man. And he did have a great career. Then he wasn't no David Gravel or Brad Sweet or Steve Kinzer, but I mean, what do you say? But who could actually forget his Gold Cup triumph at Silver Dollar Speedway, or his Knoxville Nationals prelim victory, a crowning achievement for any sprint car driver. So add in wins with the High Limit Series against the IRA and the now defunct Maverick Series, and also in the tough Central Pennsylvania circuit with the Posse. And it's clear Jacob actually wasn't just a driver; he was a racer who actually earned his success and earned every bit of it. His partnership, I call it a partnership. They were teammates, but his partnership with his nephew Logan Schuchart was actually one of the sport's greatest storylines. The two actually joined the Outlaws full time together in 2014, learning the brutal road life as teammates under the Shark Racing banner, and their bond made them fan favorites. Even as their paths diverged in 2024, Logan staying with the Outlaws while Jacob moved to High Limit, their mutual respect actually never wavered. So it just goes to show you, especially when it comes to family. Now, the weight of the decision this season, Jacobs seemed to find a balance that worked, running a pick and choose schedule for 2025. Speaking, mixing 410 and 30 or 305, 410 and 360 races on his own terms. Early results were very promising. A podium at a podium and a top five at Volusia showed he still had the speed, but then came Lincoln. At Lincoln, he suffered a heat race crash in late February, and it was a hard hit, the kind that actually lingers in a driver's mind. So, though he actually returned last weekend at Port Royal, finishing 19th and starting 22nd, you could sense something different. Maybe it was the time away. Maybe it was the late nights holding his child and wondering if the risk was still worth it. And we won't know. The only one who knows the truth is Jacob. Let's not forget 2023, a season that actually took the grind of the Outlaws tour and took its toll on Jacob, leading him to take a mental break due to health reasons. So, mental health reasons. That experience clearly stayed with him, and sprint car racing is a sport that demands everything, and sometimes stepping back is actually the bravest move any driver can make. So, what's next for Shark Racing? Well, Jacob's time behind the wheel is over, and Shark Racing isn't going anywhere. The 1A team will actually continue, and Jacob will remain deeply involved, just in a different role. Rumors are actually swirling around that a new driver, a proven race winner, has actually already been hired, but no official word on yet who that is. But given the team's actual competitive equipment, and spirit, we can expect them back on the track very soon. Uh, we actually see them as early as next weekend. Well, I hope so. But all we can do is stay tuned. So that's the only way we're going to find out. A legacy beyond the wins, though, for those who watched Jacob's career, his impact wasn't just in trophies. It was actually in his authenticity, his work ethic, and the way that he represented his family's racing legacy. He wasn't the loudest personality in the pit area, but he was definitely one of the most respected. Uh, so was his dad. I watched his dad race plenty of times. And he wasn't the winningest driver on the tour, but he won, and it felt earned when he did win. So while uh, we'll all miss seeing him charge the cushion or battle for a last lap pass, we can all respect why he's walking away, and that's family first. So, um, what do you say to that? I mean, here's to the next chapter for Jacob and his family, and for Shark Racing. The sport won't actually be the same without him in the seat, but his influence isn't going anywhere as he plans to stay with the team in a leadership role and continue hard on with them. So, um, just a quote here that I threw in here. It's actually exactly what Jacob is doing, and I throw this out to you, Jacob. I've been told you watch the show here and there, so hopefully you see this one. But this definitely makes me think of you. A quote by Alan Watts: "The only way to make sense out of a change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance," which is exactly what you're doing. Good luck in your retirement, buddy, and we wish you the best. All of our fans, what's your favorite Jacob Allen moment? Let us know in the comments below. So that kind of stinks, Nathan, but hey, sometimes the drivers got to do what they got to do, bud.
Oh yeah. And also on the notes of commenting, if any of our fans out there want to comment what their favorite throwback is for this year, or what their favorite all-time throwback is, or even a throwback that you want to see them do for the 2026 throwback weekend, let us know in the comments. You could also, send us, messages through our Switching Grooves account. We'd love to hear from you guys. We love our fan mail. We'd love just to hear from you guys and just hear what you guys think. Input, comments, concerns about the show. Let us know what you think in the comments or in our inbox. We'd love to hear from you.
And I actually do. I did get a request, Nathan,
Oh,
of
ooh,
some autographed photos of us. So
oh, cool.
we'll have to do a some kind of a photo shoot, even if it's
Oh
just
gosh.
something that we have your fiance do. That is, she's a photographer, right?
Yeah, she does photography. I wasn't expecting us to have autograph sessions. All right, I can work. I can live with this. I kind of like this.
Yeah. But so, hey, we're happy to do that. Anyone, just send us an email or fan mail. It's switchinggrooves at gmail.com. Remember, that's switching with no G, switchinggrooves at gmail.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel and never miss any of our content. So, with that said, I think it's time to call it a show.
All right, well, let's wrap it up. So with Switching Grooves, I'm Nathan Johns.
And I'm Russ Fred saying race hard,
Stay safe.
and we'll see you there.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.